Hello and welcome to Neverwinter Nights, and this will be part of 47. In the previous part, we kicked so much troll backside that the next generation of trolls will be born with a blueprint in their butt. So, we are ready to go into the Crater Race ruins. First novel, apparently. So, this will be some exploration. Oh, trigger a trap. What's that? Some exploration thing, and probably gathering some loot and whatnot. So let's do that. Prism Blossom Seed. Yeah, that is not a follow item. No, not at all. So that was another one down. I will likely do them at the end of the chapter before finishing the chapter. We'll see. So, come on, open the bloody door. Come on. Okay, we need to get an item or journal or something in order to get past that sealed guardian. So let's go looking for that. Go and look for that, I think it is called. We'll most likely, well, not likely, we'll explore the entire place, so. Need the experience. We got here, Minotaur. No, Malagon. Not entirely sure what that is, but you can do some mind stuffy thing. And it's immune to critical hits. It was lovely. This is a helmet horror. A beefed up version of the ones we faced in chapter 1 when we went down for Gul'nan, the what's it called? Yon T. Sorry, I was just. Come on, just want to check something here. No, nothing special about that. I just want to double check, that's all. Of course, it's locked. I could technically speed this up, but at the same time I don't necessarily want to do all areas sped up, because if I just want to some shurikens, yeah, grains of sound. If I just want to showcase the story, I could just cut out everything else but the story elements, and then we'll have a 3-part video series, which possibly wouldn't be overly exciting. Probably want to go the other way first, actually. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I'll do it. Yeah. Let's go this way first. Well, these are bound to come alive, aren't they? Gargoyles. Not exactly the most threatening things in the world, to be honest. And because of our level, that was more experience. Wow. You're more than welcome to crush them, please. Because they've made a stone, I'm very sure they need to be hit by magical weapons. I could be mistaken, I could perhaps... Yeah, damage reduction. But of course our fists work as +1 weapons, so that's adequate. By the way, surprise, surprise, gargoyles drop gargoyle skulls. You probably never would have guessed that. Anyway, unidentified amulet. That sounds intriguing. Can we see what they are? We will save. Hooray! I probably shouldn't say that actually, because there's been times where I've wished that I didn't fail my will saving throws, but when I've been failing them, I've been failing them on a 1, so plus 2 billion year saving throws wouldn't help. I double checked some things, by the way. I knew there was a trait you could get, or feat, I think it's called. That would increase, or sorry, prevent any saving throw rolls from being lower than 5. I knew I'd seen it before, and surprise, it's in Neverwinter Nights too. It's an epic feat. It has quite a few prerequisites, and you'll effectively be level 27, 28, something like that, before you can actually access it. Level drain, hooray! And now we're stunned. Pretty sure it can't open doors, so it doesn't really matter. See, failed on a 1. Actually, failed on 1 or 2. No, 2 would have been adequate. Only a 1 would do it, so. It happens a bit too often that you fail a saving throws like now. But anyway, let's get our level back. I did check these, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yeah, fine. That one was locked. No, it wasn't. Oh, all that for 68 gold pieces. That sounds lovely, doesn't it? Should probably heal before we open that door. But anyway, as I was saying, of course, epic feats require epic levels, which basically means anything above 20. So, but it exists. I did remember having seen it. So, in another game, of course, it's not in this game, to the best of my knowledge. This game's with all the expansion, official expansions, it actually goes all the way. I think it allows all the way up to level 40, which is quite extensive, of course. What would normally happen, I don't know if that's changed much over the years, but I remember years ago when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons, a high-level character, and we are talking level 17, 18, if you ever were to get a character to that level, they would usually be retired because they basically are extremely powerful. When you get to that point, I was sure I tossed that one in, but I didn't. Okay, I gotta go. Just have to wait a second. Busy. It's just finding opponents that would be worthy without going over the top would become more and more complicated, so usually those kind of characters would disappear. Usually in some epic way of being offered a demigod position or something similar. I don't know. Whatever the dungeon master could come up with, I suppose. But Golem's signet ring. That sounds like something the Golem would want. There's one Golem here, and that is the one blocking the entrance. So, entrance, I'm saying, on the way down, basically. So let's go and check this area here. No, yeah, did I check here? Yes, I did. Good. Of course, when it comes to playing pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons, the difference between the good and okay, I'm not used to chess being whole, sorry. The difference between a good and a not so good dungeon master is incredible. I used to play with a dungeon master who had one or two players he favored, and they became stupendously overpowered. I mean, I kid you not. We were talking about level five characters, talking about which dragon they were going to flatten. That felt a bit not right. I think is a good way of phrasing it. I was not really impressed by it. So, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I like him. I liked him, and I still like him as a person. Don't get me wrong. No complaints about the individual, but as a dungeon master, you know, the type of dungeon master that forgets what your character is capable of doing or have equipped or whatever, and then suddenly when it dawns on him because he made this great plan about something that was supposed to happen, and your character is capable of counteracting his best plans, he will find some sort of way to come up with some excuse to why that suddenly doesn't work. Even though it's designed specifically to counter a specific situation, and a little bit clumsy. So, a guy, of course, like Matthew Mercer, very, very popular and well-known voice actor, who's also according to what I have seen, an amazing dungeon master. He's very, very quick at pointing out that if you are playing a dungeon master, if you are being a dungeon master and you've made this amazing plan and this amazing story and whatever, and one of your players just goes and screws it up completely, you just have to improvise on the fly. You just have to either have some sort of backup or just think to yourself, well, that sucked, and then move on with it and take it from there. And I think that is excellent advice, because you cannot predict what a player will do, and that's the glorious thing about role playing, is that you can't predict what a player will do. I mean, you can know your players quite well, and you can have a certain idea of what they intend to do. Here's the ring. Okay, thank you. Pass the first seal. Hooray! Oh, we didn't fail a second throw. But I mean, players can do unpredictable things, which is again what makes role playing cool. And you just have to. I mean, if you came up with this amazing storyline and someone ruined it, you should be obviously not happy if you spend 12 hours of your life trying to create this storyline that you can toss it out the window. But at the same time, you have to just accept that those kind of things can happen. So. It may not be an ideal approach, but if I do dungeon mastery things, it's not something I've done recently, but I like to set down broad strokes about an area or a town or an overarching potential quest thing, but keeping it very, very open so I can modify as is required. Not to the point of, oh, the players are more clever than me. I'll make sure they are going to feel like they've just been screwed by some random factor popping up, but instead of having a fixed story or a fixed setting, and have some sort of openness to it, so you can deviate and even let the players guide you. Because I mean, your job if you're playing a dungeon master is not to punish your players; it is to encourage them to roleplay. So. Enough about that, we will probably talk a bit more about the game, but I mean, it's just fighting, hey, punch stuff. Come on. Loot is on the other side, of course. This is not the loot you're looking for. Sorry. Wrong reality. Of course it's lost. I was once dungeon master for someone who was a bit of a newbie. I mean, was a group of players, but one of them was a bit of a newbie in the role-playing part, and we need another thing in order to get past this golem, by the way. But I mean, I'm not going to claim that I'm a veteran in the field of role-playing, but I've done my share. But anyway, this individual was a complete newbie, and I'm not saying that in a negative connotation of any kind, because I mean we were all newbies at one point or another. But the player had this idea that every single person we're trying to communicate with should just be captured and basically almost tortured in order to give out the information. And I mean, I gave that player a clear-cut warning as a dungeon master, saying, well, pray you are never captured by anyone of any kind, because they're going to make you suffer. Because an individual behaving like that, their reputation would spread like wildfire, and everyone would know what they've done to other people. And there would probably be a faction or two out there being more than happy to return the favor. So, I mean, it fell apart, so it didn't come to anything. When you have half your party not really wanting to do what they're doing, then it sort of falls apart naturally. But I'm the kind of dungeon master that would happily let people do basically what they want, but there's a consequence. So I mean, they might not be. They might be able to get themselves out of whatever incident that may or may not. I mean, I would never chase a player. I would never hunt a player. Yeah. But you know, coincidences. You know. But while I would never hunt a player, I will, at the same time, also be quite willing to raise a finger and say, maybe you should consider what you're doing is going to punish not just you, but also your party members. So. And of course, in that regard, as I said, I'm no expert dungeon master. It's just a general feel in a general feel in general. Let the players do some bizarre things. It can even inspire you to do some a different setting or change the storyline you had in mind or something. Allow them to. I mean, obviously, role playing is about freedom to a certain point. You're basically exploring routes or avenues you hopefully, most likely, would never try to do in real life. But um, I mean, if someone wants to be a complete and utter bastard, then well, let that player be a complete and utter bastard. I think it's called. I was about to call it something else. Utter bastard thing word. I'm not native. Sue me. No, don't sue me. I can't afford it. But as I said, sometimes there can be a consequence for doing stupid things, and it might just happen to that player, and that player is likely to be whining if they are the type of player that will happily do something stupid. So, I mean, this could be an excellent player. Just okay. I'm going to see how far I can push this dungeon master before they get angry. Now, of course, a good dungeon master never gets angry, because that's where you become vindictive, and if you become vindictive, you ruin it for everyone. So, yeah, okay. Should probably do some healing here. Now, again, I want to emphasize I'm no veteran or master, a dungeon master by any stretch of the imagination. It's just go by feel kind of thing. So we are looking for the other object we need in order to progress. So I'm just trying to fill in the blanks, so to speak. But the thing is, when we, me and some guys, when we were, it actually started with BattleTech. If anyone is familiar with that game system. Of course, the computer games are called MechWarrior, so you might be familiar with those kind of games. But what I find interesting is the fact that the mech combat system is actually BattleTech. It's a board game. It's a board game. It's a board tactical game. But the role-playing aspect that was added to it later is actually called MechWarrior. That is the role-playing system to BattleTech. We started playing. The guys I've started playing with had been playing BattleTech for a long time, and of course I got interested in it because they kept talking about it, and I got involved with it and started enjoying it, and then they started doing Dungeons & Dragons instead. Okay, cool. So I got my head around and getting inspired and invested in all that kind of stuff in Dungeons & Dragons, and then we came across Shadowrun, which is, some people might not like the setting and prefer a medieval kind of setting, but something that we collectively always was bothered by is something that is very, very prevalent in a game like this. How much health have I got? Okay, I can take this fight. That's basically what you're doing. Oh, there's 7 orcs coming up ahead. Well, I got 50 hit points. I can probably survive this fight. And then you go in, and then you fight them, and then you survive the fight, or you die. And that's it. But you have some sort of preconception of, I can probably get away with this fight. I know they have changed things around that container store. What a shame. But initially in Shadowrun, any fight you went into could be your last one. That one's full as well. This should have space for it. Still made minus 80% weight, so it should be perfectly fine. Because of course the way the game system works, I think I haven't followed it for absolute ages, but I sort of think maybe, or we're paralyzed anyway, that it probably still plays the same way that it did back then at foundation level, where basically you have a group of dice that you can use offensively and defensively, and I'm not going to go into details because explaining even the basics of the rules is quite complicated. But suffice to say that the game system was much more enjoyable, because if you charged headfirst into a fight, you better hope that that's a +5. Hard to dismiss, but it's still only one electrical damage. I can't dismiss that damage bonus though, or to hit even. I hate when it does that to me. I prefer the Hidden Fist. I'm fairly sure the highest Hidden Fist you can get is +4, but it will do 1d4 sonic damage, and if I find +4, I will happily sacrifice the +5 for +4. But anyway, the whole aspect of Shadowrun being potentially quite lethal was what made it great. Now I'm going to be double. Yeah, okay. I'll try not doing. I will try not to do this, but I'll bound to do it anyway. Oh, Gargoyle. Wow. But I mean, they got to the point where we didn't know the rules, and we were learning as we were playing, of course. But then we decided, you know what? Let's just go with every single advanced rule you could possibly find. And at some point while playing Shadowrun, we ended up creating spare characters, basically, because I mean, you have this mindset that this is a role-playing game, and you are the calling it a hero is perhaps pushing it a bit far, because the game setting doesn't necessarily allow for heroes, but regardless, you are used to in other role-playing game systems, and you just go in guns blazing, and then you lose a character. And then you have to spend an hour and a half making a new character, which of course is a waste of time when you're having a game session that lasts about 4 to 5 hours. So we pre-made characters, you know, just in case. Is that important? Possibly not. That is nice to have. These are light wounds. I couldn't care less about them. These are money. I'll take that. Okay. Yeah, create school. I'm fairly sure that is what I need to bypass the golem. So it's possibly, or probably even, important. But I mean, from a player perspective, I prefer the setting of Dungeons and Dragons over Shadowrun. I will definitely say that up front, but yeah, I know I quick save too much. But the game system, the fact that you can't just look at your hit points and say, okay, I can save this fight. Well, I don't know whether they've changed that later on, but you couldn't, at least in the very early versions of the game. So anyway, we should, that's the creator school. Another one of these. I didn't fail. Hooray! I'm just looking. About that time where I end a part, so I should probably do that right now. On returning even, I think it's called. Sorry. I will have gone back and rendered some of all the stuff we're carrying around, because not being able to pick anything up is not very fun. So thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye.